Hey friends, welcome to the Friday check-in with Happily Even After Betrayal with Life Coach Jen. So glad you're here. First on the agenda is my podcast. So this week I did a podcast on how you can stop suffering when reality and expectations finally meet. And I found this in my own life. I had a lot of suffering after betrayal, right? Of course, no kidding. However, we have to move into the reality of our situation. We don't have to, but if you want to stop suffering, I would highly encourage it. And it's hard. It takes a lot of effort and intention and awareness, but it can be life-changing. And so as a coach, that's what I help people do. But even in your relationship, whatever relationships you have, even with your children or your neighbors or your parents or your siblings, we have lots of expectations. And I just would encourage you to is that serving you anymore to expect things? Because we can expect things of ourselves, but when we expect things of other people, they oftentimes disappoint us. They oftentimes don't do it like we want them to do it. There's that gap, and that can be really hard on us. So in order to be more open, to have a better life experience, stop expecting other people to do what you think they should do. Maybe you're wrong about that. Maybe they shouldn't. Clearly, they aren't doing it. And so the more we expect them, the more frustrated and disappointed we are. And that is where our suffering lies. And I'm not saying we can't have requests. The more we can just go inward and focus on who do we want to be, how do we want to show up, the better. And I promise when you do that, your life will be richer. So listen to the podcast. I share some personal experiences. I share a journal entry about a moment in 2018 when I had a lot of suffering in my life. Just notice, not to judge yourself, just notice, okay, I see here that I'm causing myself a lot of unnecessary suffering. Now moving on to what's going on in the world. For whatever reason, Utah has the bizarrest news all the time. I feel like the weirdest crimes come out of Utah, and probably just because I live here, but Richen's trial. Have you heard about it? Have you been watching it? I just find it so fascinating. But wouldn't you know, she was having an affair. And people do crazy things when they're having an affair. There's a lot to her story. She's accused of poisoning her husband, and I'm not going to tell you what I think. That's what she's on trial for. But the affair partner was on the stand, and I just think clearly there's a pattern of lying and betrayal and doing things that aren't, in my opinion, honest or okay. And that just happens a lot after an affair. If you've experienced betrayal, you know this. And so that was my what's going on in the world of someone having an affair. There's probably others, but that's the one I wanted to focus on. This week, as I've been coaching my clients, some things that are coming up that I just want you to notice. If you're the one who has been betrayed, your spouse had an affair and you're trying to rebuild your marriage, and your spouse has done all the things that you've asked and requested, and they're really trying to create a better marriage and rebuild, and you are the one struggling letting go of the affair, you are the one now bringing the affair partner into your marriage, not your spouse. I say that in the most kind, loving way. I myself did this many times. It's like I became as obsessed with the affair partner. I have a much different thought about the affair partner. You may or may not agree with me, but I think that some of they're victims of your spouse, especially my spouse. I'm going to call him a serial cheater. He had multiple affairs. Now, there's some of you that have that type of spouse, and then there's others of you that your spouse has just had one affair. All affairs are not good. There's emotional affairs, physical affairs. There's lots of types of affairs. But we have to be also in charge of ourselves getting over it if we really want to save our marriage. We have to heal from it. We have to stop the spin, stop thinking about the affair partner. We're asking our spouse to stop thinking about the affair partner, yet we're thinking about the affair partner. Just be onto yourself, be onto your brain, be curious and say, what do I need to do? Because that is going to hurt you just as bad as you discovering your spouse had an affair. And we don't want to give them that much power over ourselves. They don't need to be in our life anymore. Let's get them out. Let's kick them out of our life. And I promise that will help you so much. The other thing is, if your spouse is looking at pornography and you can't stop thinking about it and causing a lot of drama in your marriage about the pornography, guess who also is addicted to pornography? You are addicted because your thoughts, that's what you're thinking about all the time. I'm not saying you're watching it, but we are addicted. Some of us, we get addicted to what we are trying to get our spouse to stop doing in our thoughts. And that will hurt us. And so I want you to stop hurting yourself. And so whatever you find yourself ruminating on, if you're fixated on being right or fixated on that your spouse is wrong and you're right, it's a problem. And it's going to hurt you more than help you. Do a check-in, see how that is affecting you. If it's making you free and light and loving, great. But if not, which I'm guessing it isn't, then we need to do a check-in and reevaluate. And if you don't have someone to bounce ideas off and to get help, I would really encourage you to do so if you can. I want to share some testimonials because the thing about my coaching business is I'm not having faces attached to my testimonials. I don't have their full name. Some businesses can have that, but it's very private. It's very personal. Still want you to hear it from other people besides me. This is the question. What made you try to work with a betrayal recovery coach instead of traditional therapy or healing on your own? These are some responses. I had done the therapist and I had read all the books and I filed for divorce and got it and I got all the money I wanted, but I just wasn't getting better. I was moving forward, but it was torturous because I wasn't getting better. And so this client hired me and it's been amazing to watch her grow and progress. And her name is Julie. She's in her 50s. Most of my clients are between later 30s to 70s. Most of my clients have been married for decades. In their 30s, maybe not several decades, but at least decades. Most of the clients, that's their situation. And I would say most of them at least start out. When I met Julie, she had already gotten divorced, but most of them are trying to repair their marriage and or are also now getting divorced. And either way, I can help you because I myself was in a 26-year marriage and then I did get divorced. And so I've had experience trying to save my marriage. Remember, that takes two people willing and wanting to do that. And I was the only one that wanted to do that. And divorce, I can totally help you navigate all of that. Okay, here's another one. I have worked with a life coach and therapist in the past, and I learned a lot about myself from the life coach. I had never worked with a betrayal coach before, and I really resonated with Jen. And that's from Rhonda. She's also in her 50s. I love this one from Tom. He's in his 50s. He said, I'd rather learn NASCAR from a NASCAR driver than someone who read a book about it, which is so true. Therapists are great. They've gone to lots of schooling and stuff, but they only know about betrayal from a book if they haven't experienced it. And I would say the experience is very valuable. This is from Roger, who's in his 50s. My spouse and I did the therapy route and our own self-help exercises. The life coach approach complemented these with a little more focus on healing the nervous system. This approach also seemed to hone in on more of just me, healing, and self-accountability. Bryant, in his 40s, I want all the support I can get to help manage my emotional reactions to my wife's infidelity. Caitlin, in her 30s, I like the online aspects, and I also knew I couldn't do it on my own because it was too hard. I've tried therapists in the past, and I never liked them. Here are just some thoughts, just so it's not just me telling you like how valuable a coach can be, and especially how valuable a betrayal coach can be. And I just want to share those. Some ways to work with me. I have my Spring Forward reset going on right now, and you can get the link down below or set up a free call with me. I offer free calls all the time. And so even if you're like, I don't know if I need a coach, but you can set up a call and we will talk and I can help you decide if you do, or if we're a good fit, or if it's something that, you want to do in the future. Feel free to always set up a call. And then every month I do a new bingo card. And these are just little bite-sized ways to help you on your healing journey and I think they can be very helpful. Have a beautiful week. I'm so glad you're here. And if you ever have any questions or just want to vent or ask me my opinion on something, send me an email. I respond to all my emails and I'd love to help you. Have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you next week.